for an extra inch or two in her life? Well, this is the video for you, because we're gonna cut apart the top 4 platform sneakers to see what's on the inside and how they're built, and maybe more importantly, which ones to buy and which ones to avoid buying, because shoe brands are notorious for cutting corners on women's shoes and boots, but especially their platform shoes and boots. Like we saw with the Doc Marten Jadons, where they just had a bunch of different layers on the inside and they're just a disaster. So the goal is to really see which one of these sneakers you should and maybe shouldn't spend your hard-earned money on to give your girl that extra inch or two. And thanks to Geologie for sponsoring this video. Geologie is a 9-time award-winning men's skincare company recognized by Men's Health, Esquire, and Ask Men Grooming Awards. They have over 5,000 5-star reviews, so people really love this product, and Geologie creates a simple and effective skincare routine customized just for you with ingredients that are proven to work and formulated for daily use. And their products are great for people who are new to skincare, kind of like me, or people who are seasoned skincare experts, because they use proven ingredients that have been trusted by dermatologists for decades, like retinol, niacinamide, and kojic acid. So how does it all work? Well, you click the link provided, which is in the description. You take a 30-second diagnostic quiz, and with a few clicks, tell them about your skin and your goals, and their team of dermatologists will design a regimen just for you that is shipped directly to your door, and it's just that simple. For me, the last thing I want to do at the beginning of a day or the end of a long day is worry about my skin and do a skincare routine and worry about what products I'm using. But at the same time, there's nothing worse than being a 30-year-old with a giant zit on your forehead or your face. So I like the fact that Geologie sends you everything you need, and all you have to do is take 30 seconds in the morning and 30 seconds at night and just clean your face and be done with it, and you don't have to worry about it ever again. And the nice thing is you can sign up for their subscription model, where you don't even have to worry about getting refills or going to the store. It just gets shipped directly to your door and you never have to worry about it again. So it's a really easy way to take care of your skin the right way using the right products. Because if you're like me, I just don't want to worry about it, but I don't want zits either. So head to geologie.com to take their free skincare quiz to save up to 50% off your 30-day trial, or click the link below. That's geologie.com, or click the link below to save 50% off your 30-day trial. And thanks again to Geologie for sponsoring this video. So now let's go over the contenders of this series and a little bit of information of each. So first, let's start with the Adidas. So the brand is Adidas. The style is the Adidas Platform Mid. The color is Wonder White and Core Black. They weigh 1 pound, 0.5 ounces. They retail for $75 and they're made in Vietnam. And the upper of the shoe is made of a canvas. The lining is a softer fabric that has a little bit of squish to it. The construction is a vulcanized construction, and the outsole is a rubber outsole. Next up, we've got maybe the most popular of this series, which is the Converse. The style is the Runstar Hike Platform. The color is Jade Unity, black and white. They weigh 1 pound, 2.8 ounces. They retail for $110. They're also made in Vietnam. And the upper of the Converse is made from a recycled polyester canvas. On the inside, there's a slightly padded fabric lining. And the construction, I'm not 100% sure about this. I'm fairly positive that the foxing around the outside is a vulcanized construction, but this foam outsole might be glued on, so it might be a combination of vulcanized and cemented construction. And the outsole is mostly rubber with a little bit of foam in this little gap right here. Next up, we've got the Pumas. So the style is the Maze Women's. The color is white and black. They weigh 1 pound, 0.4 ounces. They retail for $90 and they're made in Vietnam. The upper of the Puma is a combination of fake leather and real leather. And I hate when they put fake leather on shoes, especially when there's real leather. Just spend the extra $1 to get real leather in there, because this toe, I'm 90% sure is fake leather, and that's where you're gonna wear your shoe out the most. And they make it out of fake leather, so it's kind of obnoxious. But the lining is also a fake leather, which is, I hate, that's probably the worst lining material, because it wears on your ankle if you're not wearing taller socks, and it's sweaty. So I just hate fake leather. The construction is a cemented construction where they take this cup sole, outsole, and just glue it on. So the only thing holding this shoe together is a layer of glue. And the final contender of this series, and the heaviest out of the bunch, is the Vans. The style is the Skate High Stacked. The color is black and white. They weigh a hefty 1 pound, 7.7 ounces. They retail for $90 and they're made in Vietnam. And the upper of the shoe is made of a suede leather and some canvas. The lining is also a fake leather, which I hate. The construction is a vulcanized construction, just like the regular Vans, where they take these layers of foxing rubber tape They wrap it all around and then it's all cured together, carrying all those layers of rubber together rather than gluing them together. It's allegedly a stronger bond. And the outsole is also rubber. So that's the lineup for the series. And from the outside, you might think they're all the exact same quality and built the same way, but that's why I love cutting them in half, because we really get to dig in deep into these shoes and figure out how each brand is achieving that platform and maybe what corners they're cutting to take advantage of that fast fashion women's shoe industry. And because without cutting them in half, you just never know, and you spend your money, 110 bucks on some of these shoes, and they're complete garbage. So let's get them cut in half, because I'm really curious to see what's on the inside of these shoes. Okay, we got them all chopped in half, so let's start with the Adidas and see what's inside. This ended up being a lot more interesting than I thought, because there's two completely different ways that these brands are achieving that platform look, and one might be significantly better than the other. And there's some stuff in here I think that's worth knowing before you consider buying one of these shoes. So the first way, and maybe the most basic way and potentially the worst way, is the way that Puma's does it. So what they do is they take this really tall cup sole, which is this outsole that wraps all the way up to the side of the shoe, which is a single unit, and that void caused by that cup sole, they just throw a big old chunk of foam in there. You know, there's no injection molded foam in there. It's not really a custom cut piece, because you see this little gap right here. It's just a giant void, and they slap some foam in there and call it good. The second way that brands have achieved that height is by just making a regular outsole with these columns and extending them an entire inch. So instead of foam being built up to give you that extra height, it's just these really tall rubber columns that are giving you that extra height and that support. And then that outsole unit is attached with that foxing tape like we talked about in the vulcanized construction. So two completely different ways on how to do this. But I think there's pros and cons associated with each of them. Like with the rubber columns, they are a lot heavier because of how much rubber they have to put in here to give you that support. But even with that much rubber, you can see how much it wants to squish and compress. And the problem is these little gaps caused by the columns give you like little dead spots and high pressure spots. Those dead spots in the gap, they really sink in, and if your pinky toe or one of your toes happens to line up perfectly with one of those gaps, you slowly push that down into the midsole of the shoe. But they could easily solve that by putting in a more firm lasting board, because all they have for lasting board in here is a cheaper, like, matted material, which gives you absolutely no support. The big issue with these big foam midsoles is you have the potential for over compression. Because this is just one single layer of single density foam, it just is slowly going to compress more and more over time. And they could probably get around that by doing a dual density foam, but they don't, obviously, because it's cheaper to do a single just block of foam on the inside. But the other problem with this is if your gait and your walk isn't completely perfect in every way, like if you put a little bit of extra pressure on the outside or the inside of your foot, it's gonna over compress to wherever you put the most pressure, causing a little bit of slope and a little bit of sag inside of the shoe, which is just gonna get worse and worse over time because you have the potential to compress in 1.5 inches of foam. And you might not think that's too big of a deal, but the problem is you don't notice it always in your feet. If you're misaligned some way and you've got really wonky shoes, you feel it in your knees, you feel it in your hips, and you feel it in your back, and you don't always associate it with a ill-fitting or a giant foam, overly compressed sole. So both are not the best option for a platform, and that's kind of where the Converse comes in. Because the Converse, I think out of the bunch, have done it the best way and the most right way by not putting so much foam in the midsole that you have tons of room to collapse. It's still quite a bit in the heel, but it's not anything more than what we've seen in like the more foam-based boots like Blundstones and Redbacks. And especially at near the ball of the foot and the toe, you have just as much height from the outsole as you do from that foam midsole. So there's only so much you're actually going to compress these compared to the Pumas. So you still might get a little bit of over compression, especially in the heel, but I don't think you're going to get it in the toe or the ball of the foot, which is really good. And especially with Converse and how they do their insoles, where they've got this harder rubber underneath your heel, that's going to give you the support that these other shoes are lacking. And you still get the grip of the rubber, you still get the comfort of the foam. So to me, the Converse are the best out of the bunch. So how would I actually rank these? In last place, I would put the Pumas. There's just so much potential for failure there. And if you have any weird walk at all, it's just going to get worse. Next, I would put the Vans, just because they're so heavy and there's such little support and such huge gaps, and there's so much potential for those high spots and those dead zones. Next, I'll put the Adidas, because it's not quite as crazy as the columns in the Vans because they fill it up with some foam, but this foam is so cheap and so easily compressed. It's only a matter of a few days before it's completely compressed, and then you might as well not even have foam in there, and you'll lose some of the height. And finally, like I said, Converse, out of all of them, these are the best ones, and they're probably the most popular out of all of them. So if you've been eyeing the Converse, I think they're a good buy. So let me know what you guys think and what your experiences are with these platform Converse. And let me know what other showdowns you want me to do, because I like doing these multiple shoe videos compressed into one video. And this style of video takes a lot more work, it takes a lot more money because we're buying 4 different pairs of shoes. So consider liking and subscribing and commenting to help get this video into the algorithm, because sometimes we lose some money on these videos. So thank you guys for your support and for watching this video. See ya.